eventually going to be married. She was going to have a child. She had a miscarriage. Her mother died when she was 45 of, I think, multiple sclerosis. She had a rotten time after she had that idea. Then 2 years later, when she had nothing, she had been in Spain and she was ready to come back to England. She was on welfare. She says, the idea I had 2 years ago when I had something, now I've got nothing and I have no choice left. I have to do this. She starts to write the book that makes her a billionaire. And
I want to hitchhike on that story. Before we go on to the next guy, which we've got a second story about, is that Tina Turner, who's back performing again. And if you've never seen Miss Turner, when I brought my little kids the first time when they were 2 and 5, they were dancing in just scant seconds here at the Arrowhead Pond behind us. But when Ike took everything and left her with 27 cents, and she worked right here in Glendale as a maid, but the general manager was nice to her. And then all of a sudden, Mick Jagger looked for her and said, look, you've got way too much talent to be a maid at a hotel just because you're having a little setback. You come out and perform for me. She made all the money back. She came, bought this little hotel in Glendale, goes into the GM, the general manager, and said, here's the keys. You are now the proud owner just because you treated me right.
Isn't that a cool story?
That is enlightened. Bob and I are saying there's some cool stuff you got to plan to do when you're broke. Because what we learned in Think and Grow Rich, which we hope you read, and we're standing on the shoulders of Dr. Napoleon Hill, and neither of us met him. He was sort of gone when we were just coming online, but we were both part of a lot of things that Knapp did. But Knapp said when riches begin to come, they come in such avalanching, overflowing abundance, you wonder where they've been hiding during all the lean years. You've got to have it planned.
Say that quote again. That's such a powerful quote.
When riches begin to come, everyone?
When riches begin to come.
They come in such avalanching, everyone?
They come in such avalanche.
Overflowing.
Abundance.
That you wonder where they've been hiding during all the lean years.
Will be hiding during all the lean years.
Because when it hits all at once. I mean, you know, Bob and I could tell you all the cool stuff happening to us, and we are living John 10:10, the abundant life. It's not maybe we're there. You know, all you got to do is look around this room and see we're there. And neither of us have to work. But the reason you work is because we don't want you to work. That's the wrong model. You've been taught the wrong model. We don't want you to work, play. That's still the wrong model. We think your right model, there's a new word we've created, is work ecstasy, which is workstasy. Everyone say workstasy?
Workstasy.
Which goes along with our other friend, Dr. Stanley Mason, who's the world's most profitable inventor. Stanley invented stuff you use and you've never thanked him for. He invented the Band-Aid. He's got 8 daughters. He invented the tampon. He invented the disposable diaper. And I'll go back to that in 1 second. He invented the granola bar. He invented microwave cooking, and he does one new invention a year and makes 10 million extra. Make 10 fingers, say 10 million extra. This is unenlightened as far as Bob and I are concerned. These two guys are enlightened. Yeah.
Now, where did that idea come from? Think about that for a second. These guys came out of nowhere. Where did that idea come from? Everybody was bigger than that. Now they wear Brioni suits and tennis shoes, and their stock went straight up, and it has kept going up. I haven't read it lately. But some of you are happy about that.
But what happens is that we checked our model on these guys because what we say is the 100-fold, which we're going to teach you in a minute, the sigmoid curve. Everyone say sigmoid curve?
Sigmoid curve.
Those of you that have studied business, sigmoid curve, you go down, then you go up, it accelerates, plateaus out, and comes down. That is a one-off. And Bob and I are in my office, and we're looking at all the plaques where I've had all those books bestseller, and I said, why did we sell more? And we had Chicken One, where we sold 1.5 million, a year and a half is our goal. We did 1.3 million. But while it was going up, and we were going Mach 3 with our hair on fire, 365, 24/7, we immediately came out with the second helping, and then we came out with a teenage soul. It sold 19 million off the shoots, which what happened is, when we looked at these guys, and we looked at all the other people, because everyone says, Bob, you could double, but you can't really 100-fold.
100-fold.
100-fold. Well, these guys last year grew 16,847% in 1 year. Everyone take your hand and go. Now, what they did is, one of my companies is LexisNexis. How many attorneys do we have in here? LexisNexis, basically, attorney, what does LexisNexis do? Their state of research. What happens is nobody knows, but Google was smart enough to, here's what we taught. We said, number one, on Wednesday night, we started, you got to have a dream. Everyone say a dream.
Dream.
Number two, you got to have a team. Everyone take your index fingers like this, please. Put them together and say 1 and 1 equals? Team means together everyone accomplishes miracles. The team behind them that nobody knows is LexisNexis plugs in part of the puzzle. What Bob and I are saying is your life is a mosaic. It takes a village to raise you. It takes a village to raise your business. It takes a village, and you put in some of the parts and the rest of the parts show up. But the biggest part we're trying to get is you got to write down what your passionate purpose is. We don't know what it is. Touch yourself, say, what's God's destiny for me? Everyone?
What's God's destiny for me?
These guys had everybody fight. By the way, he was here. Is Troy in the room right now?
Troy was here on Wednesday night, I think.
He was here Wednesday and Thursday, but you all saw him on The Apprentice.
I mean, there are all kinds of ideas. So the question is, how do you get an enlightened idea? This is a simple process. And when you read the Cracking the Millionaire Code book, we teach you how we get our ideas. We 3B them. Is to be or not to be, or 3B or not 3B?
Yeah, Shakespeare was wrong. He missed a B.
The question is,
body, brain, and being. Being is your spiritual essence.
Your body is a receptacle for ideas. Your being, your spirit, is a way to come up with great ideas. Your brain is a source of powering ideas. When you exercise, when you have a regimen every day with the goal that I'm going to have a $1 million idea today, I'm going to have an idea that is going to 100-fold me, then you focus in on having all those three pieces together. So each of us has a regimen that we go through. His is different than mine, and you have a regimen that you go through. Since your entire life is a 24-hour period of time, you could take your entire life and you can summarize it into one day. If your entire life is one day, how do you want to start your day? And we've talked a little bit about this. I have a regimen that I go through. My being, my body, my brain. And then I have my little recorder. And my brain just pops off ideas like crazy. I'm just like sparks are flying because I focus in on getting those three pieces together. Mark has a different way of doing and getting his brain and body and being to create his $1 million ideas. How do you do yours?
Well, that's less relevant than what you need to do is monitor what you do, and we're asking you to journal here. I mean, Oprah says the two most important things she ever did is read 2 books a week. 2 books a week. Obviously, we want you to start with ours. And I'm up 101 on just chicken, so you got a lot of reading to do. If I could do it, you could do it. Number 2, more importantly, is journal, and you journal your future. And the model real quick is, when she's sitting with Steven Spielberg when they made Color Purple, this is called a model. Everyone say a model?
Model.
Spielberg is writing in his journal, he's going to do a new company called Dream. She said, can I copy that model in my journal? He said, of course. She writes it in. She takes her name, Oprah, backwards, and it is. He writes down he's going to be a billionaire. She writes down she's going to be she's the first billionaire. Now, some of you are catching it and you're writing down, I'm going to be a billionaire. It doesn't cost anything to write this stuff, but the minute you write it, it is already true. All you do is catch up. All you do is synchronize in time and space. You're announcing the truth in advance. Everyone say in advance. We announced in advance that you would be here. Here you are. We're announcing right now that there's going to be 1 million of you in our seminars in the future. Some of you are going to become our trainers.
When you receive this, you don't have to fill out your traditional financial statement, but the question is, how much are you worth? And the real question is, who's asking? If your banker is asking how much are you worth, what are they usually talking about? Yeah, what's your financial statement? And your financial statement looks like this. The assets that I own, I got cash flow, I got credit, I got collateral. And the other side, the other enlightened assets that you possess will be on the other side of this statement. Your creativity, your chutzpah, your confidence, your charisma. So each one of you take one of these, and here's what we want you to do for just 5 minutes. When you get home, you can fill out your traditional financial statement. Keep it for yourself. It talks about all the things you own and all the money you owe. And when you subtract what you own from what you owe, you end up with a net figure, hopefully. And hopefully one day you'll be a millionaire, meaning you'll have $1 million worth of assets, net assets that you own. The other side of the financial statement is the thing that very few people ever think about. We call it your enlightened wealth statement. How many of you have not yet received one? We'll be passing them out here. You'll be receiving one. Those of you who have received one, you're going to see that there are certain hidden assets that we all possess. And these hidden assets are the source of your wealth. What kind of intangible assets do you possess that the banker usually doesn't ask about? Okay? And the first one that each of you has is, they may not be, all of you have 101 dreams, but Mark has challenged you to write down at least 101 goals. What's your statement you call on that? Your 100 goal statement?
Yeah, what you need to do is, when you get home, your goal is to write 101 goals. And if you're not a millionaire, obviously we said write down, I'm on schedule to be a millionaire. But you want to write down, and you can go to my website and pull it out, but fill in the blank. Like my perfect home has how many bedrooms, how many closets, a swimming pool, what kind of deck, what kind of windows, all that stuff. So you fill that out, and you fill out my ideal cars, the charities I want to donate to, and it's just fill in the blank so you can do it. Because most of you don't get your good because the spiritual law in Habakkuk says write a thing. Everyone say write a thing?
Write it.
Make it clear. What does it got to be? See, because most of you, if I talk to you one at a time, you say, well, I just want more money, so what I'd do, give a quarter?
Nope.
Well, if I had a quarter, I'd just say, well, here's a quarter. Well, now you got more money, but that isn't what you really wanted. It's got to be clear. You got to get definite with the infinite so the infinite can get definite with you. Everyone point at your temples, say, that's interesting.
We said this morning that one of the lessons I learned about how the brain works is to make your goals multisensory. So that's why we call them dreams here. It's not just a goal like I am going to have $1 million net worth. I want you to make it multisensory and to turn it into a dream. And one of the goals that we want you to do when you get home, when you have dreams you have, is to write down 101 of those in multisensory ways. It may take you months to do this, by the way. But the more you build more dreams into your life, the more you're going to find yourself naturally doing them. As you look at this enlightened wealth statement,
to get the 101 goals done fast, I want you to sit in a group of 4 and listen to other people's dreams. Everyone's going to be okay with your dreams and you'll be okay with theirs. But when they say, well, I want X, like I need to get this skill, I need to learn how to swim, or, I want to go with Mark and Bob to help plant the coral and bleach, so I need to know something about biology, I need to get PADI certified, I need to learn how to swim, I need to learn how to snorkel, I need to learn how to dive, right? All that stuff. And you start writing down your goals, it'll become fast. Everyone say it's going to be fast.
Fast.
Because begun is half done, and all you got to do is get them in writing, and what happens is they start to click. Click your fingers, say, my goals are clicking. Everyone? My dreams are clicking. Now look at your neighbors just like Fonz would and say, your dreams are clicking.
Your dreams are clicking. Turn to your enlightened wealth statement. On the left-hand side would be assets, hidden assets that you own. How much is your life worth? How much are your spiritual beliefs worth? Meaning, if you have them, but if you didn't have them, or if you could sell them, like, you know what, I don't want my spiritual beliefs anymore. Would somebody just buy them from me, please? And you would never be able to get them again. What would you sell them for?
What would you sell your IQ for?
What I want you to do is to quickly, rapidly go down this left-hand column and tell me what those items are worth to you right now. The question is, why doesn't the banker look at this stuff? Because the hidden assets we have will be the source of all the money we ever make. And the hidden liabilities sometimes we hang on to will be the thing that stops us from making all the money we'll ever make. And none of it's ever talked about in our banker's financial statement. In fact, everything on your financial statement, traditional banker's financial statement, is completely worthless. The money, the credit, the collateral is all worthless. You can make it from nothing. You don't need credit, you don't need cash, you don't need a job, you don't need anything except what's on your enlightened wealth statement. That is important stuff. You can drop me in any city and to take away my wallet and bankrupt me, and I've been there, and I am going to take my enlightened wealth statement and I am going to make it back again. I'm going to fill up whatever the banker wants. I can fill that up again. It comes from your enlightened wealth statement. It is the absolute source of everything. Most of you come into a room like this and you're all stuck on the banker's view of the world. Like you've got to have a good credit rating, and you're so desperate to keep your credit clean. Oh, and it's nice, it's good, I'm glad you are. But both Mark and I became millionaires with the worst credit you can imagine. All right, how would you behave differently if you knew you were worth $100 million?
Everybody breathe
think
deep.
about it for a minute. On your banker's statement, if you knew you were worth $100 million, how would you behave differently? Well, you'd probably get rid of the car you're driving right now, right? How would you behave differently? That's where the wealth starts from. It's when you know you are already worth $100 million. Now let's play that way. Okay?
Don't spend that way. This is a mental simulation,
this
like
is how you would
driver's
know.
ed or Bob and I are pilots.
That's how you know.
So you're going to go from the little picture, everyone make a little square, say, I'm going from my little picture, without whacking your neighbor, say, into the big picture.
All right. So the PRISM code is, how can I learn to see like an enlightened millionaire? Now, okay, so all right, so you're valuable, you got all kinds of worth and yada, 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 and you're connected with God, so what? So how do I start to see the world of money the way an enlightened millionaire sees the world of money? See people and opportunities and objects that have value to them. Most people don't see it. You put on your 3B glasses and you start to see with million eyes and million ears and million aromas and million tastes and million arms. You begin to become a sensing machine. You literally, when you're inspired and intuited, in spirituition, you might want to call it, when you are wandering through the world and you are now connected, everything now becomes valuable. Every object now is $1 million object. When we talked on Wednesday night, we were joking a little bit about us going to people's houses and having a reality TV show where we go into their house and we knock on the door and we give them $1 million bill, one of our phony ones, and we say, here's $1 million bill. We're gonna make $1 million from your very house. Okay? Well, what do we see? How do Mark and I see things differently than you do? When I walk into a real estate property and I walk in that house, I'm looking for flexibility. That's my method. That's the only thing I'm looking for, flexibility. I'm saying, who is the flexible person in this drama called real estate? I'm looking for somebody that's flexible. Let's see, is the realtor flexible? Would the realtor lend me his or her commission? Does the seller flexible? Does the seller need to sell this thing? I don't know. There are 9 players in the game called real estate. 9 of them. And we're all in a little play.